Good Saturday morning, everybody. It is morning time. Yes, it is morning time for me. Um, Before I start this video, I just want to read this little thing from my calendar, and it's from Colossians. Colossians chapter 2, verses 6 and 7. So just then, as you received Christ Jesus as Lord, continue to live in Him, rooted and built up in Him, straightened in the faith as you were taught, and overflowing with thanksgiving. That right there kind of sums up what I've been trying to do the last couple videos. Or I should say, within this whole week, I've been trying to live that way. It is not always easy because of things that happen or things that have been said. So I understand what it's trying to say, and I understand that it's going to be difficult, but I am trying. I read some comments this morning that I didn't read last night because either I was asleep or distracted, and I'm going to address them because they weren't negative comments, they were just comments that I think people don't understand. Now, if you're having a hard time understanding me, there's two reasons why. One, maybe my volume, and two, something to do with you. I am pretty clear spoken. I do have moments of, I'm just going to call it a brain fart because my mind wanders real quick. For the most part, I don't know of anybody who's ever had any issues understanding me. So something is getting lost in translation. Yeah. No, I don't have my morning tea because I'm trying to wake up quickly because today is going to be fairly eventful. And soda has got the highest amount of caffeine or wake up factor for me. So excuse me. I also read something from my other book, and it got lost in translation. But he was talking about how JFK had once said, nope, I'm going to go read it because brain fart happened. Nope. I lost the page. Well, we all know what JFK said in his inaugural speech. Yeah. Ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country. I feel that quote right there is kind of hitting a mark because during this pandemic, we, America, is not doing everything we can do for each other. We're the last ones to get hit. We're the last ones to basically have the coronavirus dissipate. A lot of places, a lot of states are trying to keep us safe. But there are people out there who are, I wouldn't say rioting, but they are basically getting angry and trying to demand their governors to reopen. The reason why a lot of places, a lot of governors do not want to reopen as quickly as the populace wants is because of the fact that they're going through and they're using facts and information from the CDC to basically help keep the people safe and keep this pandemic from continuing longer than necessary. But I'm hoping that once the pandemic ends and the states start opening up and trying to get everything back to norm, we help each other out because meat factories, meat packing plants have been basically closed because of the CDC and the possibility of the COVID infecting our food supply. That's basically what it boils down to is if it gets into the food, it could thrive for longer than the 14 days. That's something that the CDC has basically, or I've read in various papers and websites, that the COVID virus thrives in wet, I can't remember if I said wet and warm or just wet environments, because of the fact that it is a water molecule based virus. Now that I've said that, I'm going to switch to some of my comments. Now, I had somebody who was having issues because they thought they couldn't understand me because I didn't have my teeth in. Well, I'll be honest with you, I have a harder time speaking and being understood with those teeth in. So that is not that's on that person. The other thing the same person said was about me rubbing my eyes. I rub my eyes for three different reasons. Yes, this time of day I might rub my eyes because I've still got a little bit of crust and whatnot from sleep in the corner of my eyes. The other reason why I rub it, especially this time of year, is because I have allergies. And those allergies cause my eyes to get itchy. They also cause my eyes to water. And those of you who watch my videos and paid attention realize that sometimes I'm rubbing my eyes to get the tears out because of the fact that I get a little teary with some of my topic. So, for those who think that that particular person's comments were spot on or whatever, I'm sorry to say that you're wrong. And I'm getting fed up and frustrated with the people who want to be putting negative nillies or just misguided information. The information I get that I put on here is information I've either read from newspapers or online informational sites that you can go to. I mean, the CDC has been putting out information on a regular basis. So that information is readily available to the general public. They're not hiding anything anymore, which I think is what is causing issues on Capitol Hill. But I'm not going to go into the political jargon or the political. I'm just going to say the political bull. I'm not a Republican. I'm not a Democrat. I go for whatever side is right. Oh, Jerry's waking up. What I put on my channel and what I talk about and whatnot is, well, it's my choice. And, talking about dry eye. I've been awake long enough that I'm not rubbing sleep out of my eyes. I'm rubbing my eyes because I'm waking up and the allergens and the dust and pollutants that are in the air, even in my home, irritate my eyes this time of year even more than normal due to the fact that it's allergy season. We suffer from that. If you've never suffered from allergies and don't know what I'm talking about, you're lucky. Because it's irritating, it's annoying. Either you end up doing two things to help your eyes out, is either the Visine, which I can use, but it burns and stings and irritates my eyes even more than just the dryness. The other thing I do, and usually I do it when I fall asleep, is a damp washcloth over my eyes. I can't guarantee that will help, but it will at least alleviate some of my problems, especially when I'm trying to go to sleep. Um, yes, there are pollutants in my home because I've got my mom who smokes. There's just the normal everyday dust and debris that floats around. And then, like yesterday, we had the windows open because it was a nice, decent day, and we decided to, instead of using the AC or heat, we just open up our windows. And the sound from the rain is just one of those sounds that I enjoy listening to. I used to, when I had a decent sound machine that made noise, I used to listen to um, the the. There's two settings I used to listen to. It was either the sound of rainforests, which had the rain, the thunder, the various animal sounds like frogs, things like that. It helped me go to sleep. Then the other one was just straight up the sound of rain, or the sound of, well, it wasn't just the rain, but it was the sound of a distant thunderstorm with rain in the foreground. So you heard the thunder and whatnot, but you also heard the rain up close. So the brief periods of time where it wasn't raining, there was most likely pollen of some sort in the air. Um, but yeah, I am. I don't discourage people from leaving their comments and whatnot. What I try to discourage is the negative or judgmental. I mean, if you don't fully understand what I'm saying or where I'm going, that I can understand. Ask the questions. Don't put it in the comments. It sounds like you're trying to redirect things or be negative. Um, the last comment that I'm going to touch on, because the fact that it's a legitimate comment and I understand what the comment itself. Yes, I had bought myself a mask. And then somewhere in the interim of me buying it and it getting delivered, I forgot. And Jerry Ann had talked about making the masks. The downside with that is the factor that, sorry, I thought I was gonna sneeze. Um, the downside with what happened is I order stuff sometimes and I forget exactly what I ordered. I just know I ordered stuff. Um, so there's that moment of, yes, this is what I want, this is what I'm gonna order, and then before it even gets delivered, the idea of making them comes up because there are a lot of people out there who are making masks to basically turn around and sell for a small profit. They're doing what they can to basically not only help their community, but keep money coming into the home so they can not have to worry about, am I going to have enough money coming in from temporary unemployment or the fact that they, like me, I'm full time, so I still have somewhere in between 30 and 35 hours. I think I think when I looked at my schedule last, it was like 33.5 hours or something like that. Um, so I still have at least that much money coming in for, that income coming in from work. But there are others out there who are on total, basically, temporary unemployment from their companies. Well, like a lot of the people who used to work restaurants. A lot of people who used to work in non-essential businesses, basically, that are on temporary are basically temporarily unemployed. And so I can understand those who are unemployed who want to get back to work and want the government to open everything back up or something like that. Especially, well, it was Virginia Beach or Virginia that wanted the government to reopen everything because this is the time of year where they get tourists, and a lot of the businesses rely on tourists. They can't open up, they can't get business because there's no tourism. I've got a friend who he works. Him and his wife both work Yellowstone National Park, and both of them are year-round residents in the park because, in fact, he's a park ranger, and she's, I think she's part of the administration system for Zant, not Xanterra. I can't remember the name of the group that runs the tourism aspect of Yellowstone National Park. They're the ones who run the hotels and the food service and things like that. And right now, because the fact that the parks are closed due to COVID, um, they've been putting daily posts on what Yellowstone looks like because the animals are basically doing their thing. And they took a this morning it was they videoed a couple bison having fun in the snow because it's still snowing up there, and then they took a walk along the boardwalk up to one of the hot springs up there by Mammoth. So that was cool to watch that. But yeah, the company that runs those concessions and whatnot are losing business because they rely on the tourists. Um, the forestry department is losing some money because they rely on people who are basically going through Yellowstone. They pay a small fee for entry. um, there's a lot of things that are still going on out there that are just kind of like, yeah, I understand why people are getting um, upset about the fact that a lot of stuff are closed down, but the government does what the government has to do for the people. They don't. I mean, the government's losing out money too. I mean, the I'm trying to think of what the what office it is, but they rely on money coming in from the different national parks. I don't know if you call it the Department of Revenue or the Department of I don't know what it's called, but it deals with getting money from the different national monuments and whatnot. So yeah, I understand what's going on out there, but I also understand why the government is doing what the government is doing for the people. But I just bounced all over the place, didn't I? Yep, I sure did. I'm sorry. Let me get back to the mask issue. I had ordered the mask and I had forgotten about it, and Jenny Ann, then because I was talking to Jenny Ann like probably 2 weeks before I got my mask, so somewhere in between when I purchased it and when I got it, Jenny Ann and I had talked about making a mask for me or making one or two masks for me, and that's because of the fact that I forgot that I ordered one. That and the fact that I have one minor issue with making masks. One is getting all the product together to make it, and two, just the time for Journey Ann to sit down and make it because she's got to measure my face, cut the cloth, sew the cloth to a string or some sort of cord or something like that to go around my face. it's not I don't want her to do it. I love her to pieces. It's just we get, and I say we because in fact we both have this issue. We both get distracted from what we want to do and what we need to do. And sometimes the wants outweigh the needs. Sometimes the needs outweigh the wants. So it's a balancing act. And sometimes in the interim of balancing something, we lose focus on projects. Sometimes we don't have the time for the project. Sometimes we just don't have the desire, or we're just like, we'll wake up and go, ugh, I don't feel like doing anything. I'm wiped. I'm not feeling good. Whatever the situation is. So buying the mask and her making the mask, it's one of those, which is going to happen faster. Is a purchase going to arrive faster than the building of the item? Don't know. Just know that it was discussed, it was forgotten about, it was just one thing or another happened. So you can't sit there and go, oh, she's not going to do it. Well, we don't know. We might do it just for a project to say, hey, this is how you can do it. And the factor that the mask that I bought compared to the mask that she could be making, I would love it if she made me one. I'm not going to say I won't use it because you can't wear the same mask. I mean, the mask that I bought, yeah, I can wear it probably 2 or 3 days before it needs to get washed, maybe less. Even though I've got the filter inserts, these filter inserts can only last X amount of days before they're basically useless. It is what it is. And I basically have learned to basically say never because we could misplace the cords, we can misplace an object or another and totally forget about it, and then when we go to do a clean or a purge or whatever, we'll come across it and go, why did we buy these? Oh, wait a minute, yeah, that's why we bought them. Let's do something with them. But anyhow, I mean, I might end up, I have a pair of glasses that I use at work. Problem is, the glasses themselves sometimes slide off my face. So those cords that we showed you for building the mask were eyeglass. I forgot what you call them, but they're for your glasses to keep them from sliding off your head. I might end up using one of the two that we got for that. But no, it's not that she's not gonna make it. It's just a factor when is she gonna make it. That's the factor. Anyhow, I gotta get off this because I have to run and get groceries from the Walmart pickup. And there was something else that we were going to do while we were out and about. So, yeah. If I went off into multiple directions, I'm sorry. That's how my brain works. This video basically shows you how a brain that has ADD or hyperactivity or whatever functions. It can go. I could be talking about one thing and then something will flash in my brain and I'll go off into a different direction and then veer back onto where I was. That's how my mind works. If that is hard for you to understand or hard for you to cope with, I'm sorry. But just know this. This is something I've had to deal with all my life. I've been this way pretty much as far back as I can remember, which late 70s maybe I've been this way that I can remember. But like it says in the very beginning of these videos, Jim's mind, buckle up, and buckle up and enjoy the ride. If you're not enjoying the ride, get off. Get off. If you can't handle the ride, get off. It's just that simple. I don't tell you what to, I'm not trying to tell you not to watch my videos. I'm just trying to tell you if you can't handle this, I'm sorry. This is who I am, and these are my videos, so this is how it's going to be. Anyway, if you've enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. Any questions or comments that you want me to try to address or anything like that, go ahead and put it in the comment box. I will attempt to address. Excuse me. I will attempt to address it and see what happens. Hopefully, if it feels like the comments are going to be the need to address them is going to be a negative video, I probably won't even address them. I'll probably just ignore them. But hey, never can tell. It depends on my mood. If you're new to this program, go ahead and give that bell a tap if you want to hear more, see more, whatever. I've got other videos that might explain a lot more about who I am. So until next time, God bless, be safe, have a good day.